They can't win against you honestly, so they go after the thing that makes winning honestly impossible for them. Envy turns dangerous the moment your progress proves their excuses were lies all along. You've already felt it happen, that small drop in temperature the day you stopped asking for their nod of approval. They kept the smile on, they still say the right words, but something behind the words has been quietly working to make you smaller ever since. Here's the good news. The second you can name what they're doing, they lose their grip on your emotions. So let's name it. Weapon number 1, stop rushing to smooth things over. Don't fill silence just because it's uncomfortable. People running on envy count on your instinct to be polite, because your politeness is the exact thing that lets them keep operating in the dark. The moment you slow down, instead of smoothing things over, their rhythm breaks. And a broken rhythm creates space. Space where their real intentions become visible, because you're no longer covering for them with quick smiles and nervous laughter. That space is what lets you finally see what they've been doing all along. And the first thing you'll notice is how they respond to your good news. Something good happens to you and their face does something strange. It's not happiness. It looks almost like oxygen just left the room for them. They'll say congratulations, but it comes out sounding more like a receipt getting handed to you than a celebration. Real support warms your chest. This kind runs cold down your spine. There's a reason for that difference. Your win doesn't inspire someone like this. It exposes them. It's a mirror held up to every risk they were too scared to take, every bit of discipline they skipped, every truth about themselves they've been avoiding. So instead of competing with you out in the open, where they might actually lose clearly, they shift the fight underground. Emotional, social, psychological. And here's where almost everyone gets caught off guard. Envy rarely walks in the front door and announces itself. It shows up wearing other people's clothes. It sounds like advice, like concern, like a joke, or distance, or suddenly copying your habits, or support with something bitter folded quietly inside it. And here's the strange part nobody warns you about. The less you react to it, the more inventive it gets. Once someone realizes they can't outwork you, outgrow you, or simply outshine you, they don't quit. They just change targets. They stop trying to beat you in public and start trying to chip away at your confidence in places nobody else can see or measure. That's why you can walk away from a completely normal conversation feeling oddly deflated, even though nothing overtly hostile was said. Open hostility is easy to catch. This slower version is harder because it works through small cuts, repeated so often that eventually you start second-guessing your own reactions instead of theirs. At work, they'll repeat your idea louder a week later and act generous for even mentioning your name. In private, they'll ask how you manage to stay so disciplined, then quietly mock that same seriousness a few days later. In a group, they'll cut into your story at the exact moment people start leaning toward you. Over text, they vanish for hours, then expect you to be instantly warm the second it's convenient for them. Individually, none of this looks like much. That's the entire strategy. Each moment is small enough to deny, but stacked together, they form a very clear shape. And that shape depends entirely on deniability, because deniability keeps you busy explaining yourself instead of protecting yourself. Which brings us to weapon number 2, stop over-explaining and start naming the behavior plainly instead. When someone shrinks your win down to nothing, try this: that mattered to me. When a joke lands more like an insult than humor, say so, calmly. When fake concern starts sounding suspiciously like control, say, I didn't ask for your approval. Keep it short. Short protects you, because people driven by envy feed on your over-explaining. The longer you talk, the more they learn about exactly where your guilt lives, where your insecurities sit, and which pressure points still work on you. They're not confused about who you are. They're studying you, and that research becomes their game plan the moment open competition stops being an option. Notice how they suddenly turn into experts on your flaws right around the time your strengths become undeniable. Your flaws didn't change, your value did, so they start relabeling things. Your confidence becomes arrogance, your standards become ego, your distance becomes an attitude. Watch how fast those labels appear the moment you stop needing their validation. Before that point, you were easy to have around. Convenient people rarely trigger real envy. But the moment you become self-directed, self-respecting, and less available, insecure people feel the ground shift under them. Your calm reminds them how much of their own life runs on performance. Then comes the part that's almost funny if it wasn't so revealing. They start quietly borrowing the exact things they used to mock, the routines they laughed at, the boundaries they rolled their eyes at. The ambition they called excessive. Suddenly, they're doing it too, just without the credit. That's not a coincidence. That's envy, tangled up with admiration and resentment at the same time. They want your results, but admitting your method was right the whole time would cost them too much pride. So they take pieces of what works for you while still talking down to you in public. Never hand real strategy to someone actively trying to shrink your confidence. Here's another pattern worth watching. The disappearing act that happens right when your life starts working. You get healthier, clearer-headed, more disciplined, and their attention mysteriously fades. But let something go wrong, let you get hurt or lose your footing, and they reappear almost instantly. That's not compassion showing up. That's an appetite for a version of you they know how to manage. Your struggle lowers your price and raises their sense of importance. Some people only feel warm toward you when you're visibly struggling. That's not support. That's feeding off the version of you that's easier to control. Here's the part that took me a while to fully understand. The most dangerous envy rarely comes wrapped in ugliness. It hides inside the smoothest, most polished support you'll ever receive. The calmer and more agreeable someone seems, the more carefully you should be watching the pattern underneath. People who are genuinely skilled at this never attack anywhere you could catch them clearly. They keep their image spotless and your instincts scrambled. They use small jokes, withheld praise, strategic silence, a neutrality that feels just slightly off. Then they wait for you to overreact, so they get to play the innocent one. Don't hand them that role. Innocence is their favorite place to hide. Keep your face still, slow your voice down, use fewer words than usual. A neutral expression tells someone like this that they aren't getting free emotional material to work with. Silence does the same thing because it forces them to sit alone with whatever they were just trying to project onto you. When a sharp joke lands, don't laugh it off automatically just to keep the peace. Pause, hold eye contact, say that again, like you already understood exactly what just happened. People running on envy hate being pulled out of implication and into direct language, because implication lets them wound you without ever fully owning it. Direct language forces ownership, and ownership is precisely what weak behavior tries to avoid. There's another quieter game they play, competing with you for emotional space in every room you're both in. They need to feel more central, more admired, more needed than you. So the second attention starts drifting your way, they redirect it. They cut in, they change the subject, they tell a bigger story, they tease you right at the peak moment. That's not social clumsiness, that's insecurity, trying to manage exposure while wearing a smile. At dinners, they'll ask loaded questions designed to make you over-explain yourself. In meetings, they'll credit your idea just late enough that it still looks generous while making you seem smaller. Around shared friends, they're warm in public and cold the second the room thins out. None of it is enough to prove on its own. All of it is enough to drain you. That draining feeling isn't weakness on your part. It's your nervous system correctly reading hostility your conscious mind hasn't caught up to yet. Trust that feeling sooner. Your body usually notices what your loyalty is still trying to explain away. You don't need proof strong enough for a courtroom to justify pulling back from someone poisoning your peace. A pattern is already louder than any of their carefully chosen words. There's a moment worth pausing on here, because it changes how the rest of this makes sense. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to not be like that." He wasn't talking about winning an argument. He was talking about refusing to let someone else's smallness pull you down to their level. That's the whole game, once you strip away all the noise. They want a reaction. Don't be like that. Stay exactly who you were before they started testing you. One of the more dangerous shifts happens once they figure out they don't have leverage over you anymore. That's when they stop talking to you and start talking about you. Reputation becomes the new battlefield. When emotional control stops working, suddenly you're different, distant, selfish, too much. Listen closely to that language, because it usually means something specific. Different often means harder to use. Too much often means your standards got expensive and their access just lost its discount. Arrogant often means you stopped shrinking yourself so they could feel comfortable next to you. Their labels aren't the truth, they're pressure, designed to trigger the old version of you that used to comply. They'll recruit other people through offhand comments, because envy loves working through indirect pressure and borrowed credibility instead of confronting you directly. If word gets back to you, don't chase every voice trying to explain yourself. One line does the job. People talk. I keep moving. Watch for the moments they get strangely dramatic, simply because you look unbothered around them. They need visible proof that they still affect you, because that proof is what convinces them they still matter in your decisions. Give them exactly one response and let it close the conversation. You're allowed to think that. No defending yourself, no panic, no rushing in to fix the moment, because rescuing the tension is exactly what they're hoping you'll do. Then there's the sudden warmth that shows up right when your distance starts becoming real. After weeks of going quiet, they're suddenly softer, more curious, more available than they've been in a long time. It looks like change, until you notice it fades the second they feel secure in their access again. That's not repair. That's someone checking whether the old door still opens. When it happens, you can stay polite, but stay observant first. Trust the timing of their warmth over the tone of it, because timing tells you the truth long before tone ever does. And this is weapon number 3. After disrespect, let warmth arrive on your schedule, not theirs, and pay attention to who gets uncomfortable waiting. Don't reward a sharp comment with instant softness just because tension feels awkward to sit in. Let their behavior stay in the room a little longer without you rushing to clean it up with a smile. Someone who meant no real harm can survive that silence without unraveling. Someone hiding envy usually can't. They'll rush to rewrite the moment before you've even fully processed it, because guilt moves fast once it knows it's been caught. There's a heavier layer that shows up later, and it tends to land harder than people expect. Once someone realizes they genuinely cannot outperform you, some of them start quietly hoping you'll trip yourself up instead. They don't need to beat you directly if they can just keep you doubting your own footing. So they plant hesitation, they plant doubt. They time it precisely, right before your interview, your launch, your big conversation, the boundary you were finally about to set. Suddenly, they're just being honest, right when your confidence needed to be steady the most, and that timing is what gives them away. That's not honesty, that's erosion, dressed up as tough love. Real honesty leaves you clearer. This kind leaves you smaller. Learn the difference, and the rest of your life gets noticeably quieter and much harder to poison. 2 more lines worth keeping in your pocket. When guilt or manufactured urgency tries to pull you back into old habits, say, "That doesn't move me anymore." And when praise starts sounding oddly loaded, just say, "Noted," and keep walking. People operating this way hate being watched far more than they hate being confronted, because being watched leaves them nowhere left to perform. The moment you stop explaining yourself and start simply observing instead, their whole act becomes almost embarrassingly visible. You start seeing the envy tucked inside the compliments, the fear tucked inside the criticism, the weakness hiding underneath every attempt at control. And once you see it clearly, something shifts. None of it was ever really about you. It was a reaction to your value, not evidence against it. Your discipline bothers them because it removes their excuses. Your calm bothers them because it highlights their chaos. Your boundaries bother them because boundaries end the discount they were quietly enjoying on your time and energy. Your confidence bothers them because confidence can't be guilted, hurt, or redirected the way it used to be, which means their behavior is telling you about their limits, not yours. Let that thought actually set you free. So stop trying to earn approval from people who already feel threatened by your existence. Stop handing detailed access to your fears, your plans, and your private process to people who've shown you exactly what they do with it. Move quieter. Speak cleaner. Let your results say what insecure people will never be able to admit out loud. This week, try one shorter response than you normally would, and notice who gets uncomfortable the moment control slips out of their hands.